There is a thin divide between what is perceived as spiritual and paranormal, for they are forever entwined throughout time. Traveling within the history of the world, we can find examples of spirituality that involves everything from magic, spirits, gods and goddesses, and seers or people said to be able to talk to the dead. We all have our belief systems and we all have our own truths. So come sit with Holly Jenkins and myself as we talk about all that and more. Welcome to Spiritually Paranormal.
Oh, wait, what can I not hear? Hold on, let me check all my sounds. No? Can you hear me? I hear nothing. Hold on.
Oh, can you hear now?
Oh, now I can hear. Oh,
Sorry,
my word.
guys.
Sorry, I was on the phone with work.
That's all right. That's all right.
It
Like
happens.
I said, we've got stuff. We just got stuff. And I didn't have my mic. I come on and I'm talking to him and my mic wasn't on. So, hey, it's all good. Right. But just for the record, just so and hi, let me get her off of that. I didn't mean to click her either. Yeah, it's one of those days today. But I want to tell you something that's very important. I appreciate you so much.
Me?
Yes, absolutely 100%. You have kept me just in a happy place the past few days. And whenever I get down, I keep playing this. I sent it to Taylor. You couldn't hear it real well because I couldn't download it.
Oh, yeah.
It was just so, it was just so you, but it was so funny. I sat there the first day I saw it. I must have played it 50 times. I just kept hitting replay.
I have more bloopers on my TikTok somewhere. There's, it happens all the time. Like, it was a quote, and I can't remember what the quote was, but it was a very really good, profound, serious quote.
I have something to tell you.
And then I would go blank. I just went blank, and then I was like, crap, and I stopped and I started again. And on the second one, I said, I have something important to tell you. And then it went blank again. And I was like, why can I not remember this little bitty quote? Oh my gosh.
Well, see, you do it with your phone.
Yeah.
I can't do that with my phone because it's close and it's bad enough. And I'm not vain, but I don't like looking at myself because it looks so bad because I've aged so much over the past few years. And it's so close up and so
Snapchat is your friend. They have a filter that still looks like you, but smooths away a little bit of it,
and I'm okay with it. But sometimes when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I look like the hag. Oh my goodness gracious. So hello, everybody. Hi, David, Dixie, Ray Boy. How are you?
You know me. I've always been about showing people the real me, and
I don't have, I don't have a problem with it. The other day to tell you again, I'm cursing again. I have the influx of flies again. Cannot find out where they're from. I
think it's something going on because we had that problem. We've never had a problem with flies. Never. Fruit flies, yes, but regular flies, no. And after your episode with the flies, we had flies all over our house. They were worse downstairs. And again, there's nothing dead around anywhere. There was I just don't know. We couldn't figure out where they were coming from.
Well, I got rid of them. Then 3 days later, I had a swarm of, and again, I have a swarm of them in the house. And I have, nothing's open. Everything's sealed from the outside to the inside. There's nothing under my crawl. I actually, and don't tell Taylor I did
That
this.
sounds weird to say. Nothing under your crawl. That sounds very weird.
I went and opened it and like hung over the side. Don't tell Taylor because she'll have a coronary. But
Taylor,
there was nothing. There was nothing, and like so, all I do is walk. Here's my swatter. My swatter actually cracked in half. I had a tape with stuff. That's how many freaking flies I've been shooting down. So
oh my goodness!
It is. And somebody, a friend of mine, laughed and she goes, "Oh, maybe you have demon flies." I said, "Oh, shut up."
No, there's something going on. Something going on in nature that's doing all this craziness. But one of the people I work with, she just called me and she's been having some. She is going through menopause too. And shut up, Bear. We don't want to hear about your non-menopausal self. But so she doesn't have friends that she can talk to that are going through it. Because, they just don't talk about that kind of thing. So she just needed to talk to me to get some things off of her chest and, someone who relates.
In the year of 2023, there's people afraid to talk to her about it. They have penis commercials about everything. Like they even use a.
Well, I think most of her other female friends that are of our age are in denial that they're in menopause or going into it.
I'm like, oh my God, they have like commercials now for men and women. They're separate for razors for your crotch. And I'm like, what the heck? And my daughter says, well, it's everyday stuff, Mom. I go, yeah, but it's never kind of been out there in public. And they do have the hot flash commercials too about there's a science name or a medical name for hot flashes. And I just look at this stuff and I'm like, wow, I wonder what my mom would have said, because she passed when she was 88 back in 2008. And I'm like, I wonder what she would have said to this stuff, And I'm like, wow, am I that old that it's not offensive, but sometimes it's like, whoa, what did they just say?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a good thing that it's out in the open, that people are feeling more like they can talk about these things, because I've never heard any women, the older women in my family, they never really talked about what they were going through in menopause. So as a younger woman, I had no idea what I was in for. And I'm like, it's crazy because, menopause, people don't realize you suddenly will get mysterious aches and pains, and a lot of times it goes undiagnosed. Doctors will say, oh, it's arthritis. It's not. It's freaking menopause. It can be arthritis, but a lot of cases it's freaking menopause.
Well, men actually have stuff when they hit a certain age as well, and that's not talked about either. And I'm sure the guys don't go into the locker room and say, "Hey, yeah, I got."
Oh yeah. I don't know.
So, but that kind of stuff, and I do realize that things are progressive now, but I'm not. I don't know if I want to watch that. I just don't know if I want to keep watching that or not, or hearing it on TV. It's a lot some days.
It is a lot. It is a lot.
So what have you been doing this week? What's been going on since last week?
The whole family has been sick with a stomach bug. Like, it started for me like last Thursday, and we all had it all weekend. Michaela started getting it Monday. She was the only one who hadn't got sick, and then Monday she came home from work early because she was sick. And it's just, we've all just been passing it around.
Well, yeah, it just keeps going around and around. I know a lot of people here in Michigan, a lot of people that I know here are going through the same type of stuff. And I know a few people that have been here as well that watch us and come on, they've been sick as well. So, and it's not just in the U.S. area, it's also over in the
There's a lot going around, the creation of all these super bugs.
Yeah, super bugs and super flies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got something that happened this past week, and
I have a story. Oh, you know the story.
No, you go first. Go ahead.
But Leo's thing. So Michaela took the boys out to see this guy she's dating, and he lives out in the country in the middle of the nowhere. I mean, like you can't even see his neighbors because they're way on down the road, and it's cornfields and stuff right all around his property. And Leo said to his mom, he didn't say right away. He didn't tell her right away because her and Alton were doing something or talking or whatever they were doing. And the boys were in another room watching a movie. And as they were leaving, Leo says to her, they're outside the house already. They're outside going to the car. Leo says he had seen something. It was tall and skin colored and really fast run by the window. He said it didn't have any eyes, no nose, no mouth. It was just all skin colored and it was super fast. And that its head was not normal shaped. And I had him draw it out, and I sent Bear a picture of what it looked like. I don't know how you would describe the head of it.
I just kind of thought, let me see if I'll get it and put it up here. I had just basically thought about Alien, actually, was what came to mind when I saw it. Look, and I'm fine.
But he said it had no eyes, no nose, no mouth, and it was super fast. And Michaela freaked out. She said, you could have waited till we were in the car, or you could have told me when we were in the house.
Oh, that's funny. That's fun. No, I don't see it.
And so Alton had fallen asleep. So when they had left, and so she told Alton the next day what Leo had said, and he said that he had seen the same thing a couple of times before. Him and his friends were out working on their cars in the garage, and there was this thing, these eyes glowing in the cornfield. He said, but it was way taller than any deer. It stood way above the corn.
Well, you sent a video. You sent a video. So, but what it looks like to me isn't a gray, but the head he drew is like a gummy bear head, right? So it's like kind of round, and it goes up a little bit, and then it has like round ears on it, and it's just nothing else. So it's either I
look at it and almost see a frog head, kind of.
Yeah, kind of like a cartoon frog. Yeah, same thing, like that, like a gummy bear with the ears. Yeah. I still feel that it's with the land, and I didn't feel anything ooky about it. It was just there, and I don't really think it's attached to the house. I think it's attached to the land.
Probably, yeah. But they were really freaking creeped out. Now Leo's like, I don't want to go downstairs by myself and all the. Oh my goodness, here we go. I'm like, the thing isn't here.
They're not going to want to go over to his house again with Mom. That's
no, sure. Not by themselves.
I would probably at that age wouldn't want it either.
Yeah.
Well, I had an interesting past week and a half with Spirit. And I really didn't talk about it last week because I was hoping it would go away. And I got to be careful what I say because it's involving a good friend of mine, and it's something that's going to go for Christmas. So I can't tell you a whole lot about that. But anyway, I have one of my best friends here in Michigan that I grew up with had her husband passed away last year at Christmas time from ALS. And oh, wait a minute. No, 2021. Yeah, no, 2021 he passed. I'm lost a year already. Anyway, I've known him since he was in his late 20s, since they got married, and him and I had a really good sibling type relationship, and he was like a man's man, smoking, drinking, throwing back a brew, and he owned his own construction, so he worked for himself and brought people in to help when he needed it. But he was a guy, like a real guy, like from the 70s and 80s, no subtleties with him. And I used to say, oh my God, you're such an ass. And he would call me, you're such a bitch. And we'd laugh, right? Because that's the relationship we had. So as you know, ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease is really super nasty. Well, he passed, and the night he passed, I knew he passed before I got the phone call at 11:30, quarter to 12 in the morning. And when he came, he was like, oh my God, And I look up and I was like, what? And it's like, it's real. It's real. Oh my God, you were right. Oh, this is so cool. And he's like, you can see me? And I'm like, yeah, I can hear you too. And he's like, yeah, woohoo, I'm going to have fun with this. And I thought, oh, hell, right? So that last March, I had to go down for some appointments and stuff. And I stayed with my friend for a week because her mother lives with her. And her mother's like, well, she just turned 93, I think, this year. And she's fine. She's smart as a tack. I've known Mom for years, since I knew Paula. And, I shouldn't have let that out. Anyway, since I knew her. And so I was there at the house. Well, whenever Paula would come home, because she just started to go back to work that week, right? She'd say, I don't feel him. Like I know when my dad comes, he uses cigar smoke, and I just don't feel him. Every time I said, well, he's here. Like he is definitely here. I see him and I hear him, and he's not happy that you aren't paying attention. She goes, I just can't. And I think it was a Black, because she's kind of got the ability to see spirit and hear spirit as well. And one of her daughters does too, for sure. And, he got so mad. I had my tablet sitting on a shelf, wasn't near it. It's been sitting there for like 3 hours. And I had my phone sitting next to me. So every time she said she didn't think he was there, he'd fling my tablet 3 feet in the air and across the room. And I go, would you just stop? And she's like, what are you talking about? I go, he's here. She goes, oh, he's not. Then my phone would go flying. So this has been a way he's connected with me for a past like year and a half.
Yeah.
So last week I had some stuff that he was talking to me about, and I was like, go away. Just go away. I don't want to talk to you right now. Go. Well, they don't know no. It's like the wolf. They don't know no. When they got something in their head, they got
and
it.
They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, and they just want you to do it. So I finished part of it the beginning or the end of last week. I completed it. So then over the weekend, he said, oh, you're not done. You think you're done? And I'm like, yeah, I'm done. It's done. No, you're not done. And I'm like, what? You got to do the thing for my kids.
Hey, Joyce.
And I'm like, what do you mean the thing for the girls? And he had brought my attention the week prior when Tay and Dave were up and showed me these panels I had that were like 5x8s, gesso board.
Right.
I said, yeah. He says, you have 3 there. It's theirs. I'm taking claim. And I'm like, for what? So he told me exactly what he wanted. And I'm like, man, I don't have time for that. And I don't have, it's not going to dry. And he's like, just do it. Until I sat down to do it, he would not leave me alone. I mean, is it done yet? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? When are you going to sit down? So 3 days ago, Sunday afternoon, I sat down and I put them, the boards, the way he wanted them. And I'm like, looking. So he says, oh, well, I'm going to help you. I'm like, what? He goes, I'm going to help you do it. And I'm like, how the heck? He jumped in.
Oh,
and my hand was moving. I go, you're not very good at this. And he's like, I'm just as good as I need to be. And I'll be darned. I looked at that thing and I was like, and he finished them. He finished all 3 of them. But it was like, he had my arm. And it was like, I was like, it's the weirdest thing I've ever, and I trust him. So I didn't really get it.
I didn't resist against it. Yeah.
But it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And he's doing, he goes, this is just what I want. I'm like, okay, can I have my arm back? He said, nope, not done yet. And he did all 3 of them. And I'm like, holy crap. The thing is, they will understand that because they've been getting signs from him, and actually what he did will give them more reassurance, but they're 3 separate pieces that put together make one piece.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Each girl will have a part of it always. Yeah. And then when they want to, they can put it together.
Right.
Family. I'm like, seriously, dude? And he laughed. He thought it was just shut up. I go, oh, and away he went. So yeah, so I laugh because somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, spirit's not real." I'm like, man, you need to come to my house and step in my shoes.
For real.
It's like, and people are experiencing more right now. And I said, well, it's because it's the holidays. And I said, I know that sounds ooky, but a lot of people are thinking about their loved ones that have passed. So they want to come in and share that with you and connect with you. And plus, it's been, like you said, more people are awakening up to what's going on. So it was just crazy. But I love it. It's kind of holiday spirits, I guess. But not the way I kind of wanted to do it. But that's okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is so awesome. I wish I had thought to bring with me today. Robert got me the greatest gift for my birthday. He got me an advent calendar that is a crystal every day. And I wish I had brought it with me to show you the crystals I've gotten so far. It is so awesome. And there's been 2 crystals that are like little chips, little real rough, small crystals, but the rest are like, there's towers and points and
that's
really
awesome.
Decent hunks of crystal. So I can't wait to open the rest of the windows. You know how hard that is for me to have all those crystals right there and leave them behind the little doors.
Now, can you redo them for next year so you open them again each day through Advent?
No, I will be needing a new crystal calendar. Hello. Okay. There's no putting them back in and redoing the same thing. I want a new one. I want.
Maybe they have a sale on them and he can go back and keep them for the next 5 years.
But they're going to be different with every year. They're going to be different crystals in every slot. So, yes, give me more. You can never have too many crystals.
All right. So today's topic kind of came to, I like not always telling you because I want your total reaction. But this kind of goes in line with spirit and our families on the other side and our friends and stuff that have passed. And back in 1975, I was actually a freshman.
I was a wee little baby.
Yeah. Okay.
I was 3.
I bet you drove everybody crazy, little baby. Anyway,
maybe
1975, I was a freshman in high school. Wow, am I that much older than you? Really?
I was born in 71.
Oh my God! I'm 22 years older than you are? Oh, wow.
Yeah, Grandma.
Wow. Yeah, but you're the actual grandma, so there you go, Grandma. Anyhow, 1975 was kind of like when all the new age, I guess, classify it as, like
Rellin, you're old too.
Sandra. Yeah. Oh, Ruth's here. Yeah, she is old too. Sandra Brown came out. Echo Badine came out. Cinnamon Moon came out. Rosemary Altea had a big hit with her book, The Eagle and the Rose, about her spirit guide. And then we had Dr. Raymond Moody. Okay. Mm-hmm. Dr. Raymond Moody, who most of you people know. What is she doing? She called me out. She's older than I am.
Rellin. No, it's Rellin.
Oh.
I haven't seen Ruth.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Isn't that fun? Yeah, I love that. Anyhow,
hanging out with all these old ladies.
Shut up. 1975 is when his book came out, but he is actually a psychiatrist, okay? But he took his study of human behavior and he put out the book that was in 1975, Life After Life, okay? Mm-hmm. And he has dedicated his whole career and basically his life to exploring life after death. And he's written many, many books. He's come up with many, many different things to challenge it and push it a little farther. He's done all kinds of experiments. Matter of fact, he was one that first really started the deprivation tank for healing. So he had a darkened area with a tub, some kind of a tub that had water in it, and it would completely shut down.
They have those here in Nashville. People go to them all the time.
I I love it. I mean, I think that's a great idea. When I could get in and out of a tub, I used to do that anyway. I'd go in and I'd meditate that way.
Yep.
They would connect with loved ones on the other side. So he was like the groundbreaker for that, right? And he's still going strong. And one of the things, it came up to my mind because of the fact I actually saw, I think it was the New York Times, had an article, a current article, that he's still being fought by psychiatrists that are on the science end of things.
It's 222, by the way.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, no, it's 322 here. Whatever.
222 in Central Time Zone.
Yeah, okay. So he is getting challenged, and he's continually pushing these boundaries of people have these experiences, and then like people that pass and come back or are brought back, that they've seen the other side, and their challenge is more of a scientific medical, like, this part of their brain was activated,
right, blah
blah
blah.
And the latest book he put out also recaps this again. So I thought, this is interesting. I've been there, done that. Was it really drugs in my imagination when I was under? I don't think so. What is your opinion on it? I mean, to me, it's fascinating.
Well, you're talking to someone who, I've done past life regression a lot. So, yeah, I don't think that it had anything to do with drugs and all this other stuff or different parts of the brain being activated necessarily. But then again, a friend of mine a long time ago, I know I've said this before, she asked me, I remember like it was yesterday. She was living in an apartment at the time, and we were hanging out at the pool, and she said to me, how is it you can see things other people don't? I said, well, imagine your mind is an endless hallway of doors. And some doors are open, some doors are closed, some doors you don't even see, you don't even realize are there. I said, well, I acknowledge all my doors. I see all my doors and they're open. And I said, and some people know there's doors there and they keep them shut and they lock them, they don't want, they're too afraid to open that door up.
Right.
So it's just different parts of who we are. I don't even want to say it's part of the brain, because it's not. Because you don't see with your brain. You see with who you are, the essence of you, your spirit. That's how I see that you communicate with spirit. That's how you see spirit. That's how you hear spirit. Not with a physical brain and ears and eyes, even though it feels like you're using those. It is with your spirit itself that is connecting to that other energy. Your energy connecting with the other energy.
Sorry, I'm doing this, guys. It's just because there's a fly here that won't let me go. Yeah, I think that's 100% right. But I do challenge sometimes when they say, oh, well, you go down this dark hallway and there's this light at the end of the tunnel. And see, that's not what I experienced at all. I was actually in a building with a lot of places to go in the building, and there was a physical door, and it was down a ways, and I just was trucking to it, but it was a regular building. There was no light on the other side. I was just stopped at the door area by St. Francis, and why? Well, because he's helped me all my life with, that's who I go to with my animals and the creatures that I deal with and all of that. And I can tell you, he's nothing like what they picture him as. And he literally was angry with me. Well, not angry, but, he's like, God, you're so bullheaded, go back.
You bullheaded?
No,
never.
Your dog is fine. I go, but I want to see him. And this was back in 2019. And I came back, and when I woke up, it was like 12 hours later, I was in ICU. So, but do I think that was imaginary or because my brain was no, it wasn't being stressed.
One of the best books I think describes it the best, and I love this book because it is not the author's opinion. It is Michael Newton's Journey of the Soul.
Okay.
And Michael Newton, Journey of the Soul, you got to check it out. He was a psychiatrist that did age progression, or with regression, and to help people with childhood traumas and all that kind of stuff. Well, over the many years of his practice, he realized some people were going back beyond where he was trying to take them, like be to another life or in the in between.
Right.
And then after recording so many of those instances, he then purposely started taking people back to the space in between. So the book is just full of those experiences. And you've got different people from different religions and backgrounds and different walks of life. And all of their stories are so extremely similar. And they are very much like yours, where they are in this place. Sometimes a loved one or someone who has passed that's on this side will come and meet them when they exit the body. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes they go on their own to this space.
Right.
And it is like, I want to say it's a big hall, big grand place with all these different sections to it. And there's a council of, I don't know, God's spirits or whatever. And it's like a debriefing of, what did you get out of this life? Did you get what you wanted? Because we all have a purpose when we take up the contract to come into this life. There's something we want. Either we want to learn, we want to grow, or we want to experience. And it could be as simple as somebody that in one life didn't have children, and in the next life, their simple task was to know what it was like to have children.
Well, it's interesting that you say it was a room, because I went to it was like a hall, like a great big.
This is big, grand place with lots of corridors and halls and doors.
Yeah, well, this was a main room, and they had tables across the front, and people were lined up at the lines. And when I got up to the front of the line, finally, I was met by one of my mentors that I had in high school, and she's passed. Okay, she passed really early. She passed in her 40s from stomach cancer. And she was there, and I looked up. I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Well, she shows up in vision and dream time, whatever. She's the big gun they send in, because she never let me get away with crap in high school, and she wasn't about to do it now. And I just looked, and she says, get the hell out of here. Go. You don't belong.
Right. It wasn't your time yet. Right.
Yeah. And it was
you got shit to do, lady. You got to go back.
Yeah. So what is, like, they say, well, the critics against like Moody and other people that are doing these kinds of studies are saying, well, that's just wishful thinking. People don't remember when they wake up.
Whatever. I don't believe that.
And I don't either, because there's just too many people that it's happening to, very similar incidents.
You got to check out Michael Newton's book. Check his book out. I like the fact that it's not his opinion. Right. It is just a recording of each individual experience.
There's actually, and I don't remember what it was called. I'm going to put his name in here so they can find his book.
The Journey of Souls, Michael Newton. Because if you just look up Journey of Souls, you're going to find a bunch of different books with the same name, but Michael Newton is the one. Okay. And it's like he talked about the soul families. Well, the people talked about soul families and how you came back together with every soul has a group of souls that they continue to reincarnate with.
Well, and it's interesting. There's this show, and it's got, like, I want to say maybe 10 or 12 episodes on Netflix. I cannot recall what it is now, but I think it has past lives in the title somehow. And this was out a few years ago. And the case that really stuck with me, because I've actually seen it in different spots on different discussion groups and what have you, was a woman who was a doctor that actually went whitewater rafting, and she got flipped over in the boat. They don't know how she survived, because she was slammed up against the rocks, and I mean, they had to get her out of there by helicopter. It was a hot mess. But while she was out, one of her family members that had passed told her verbatim that her oldest son was going to pass. And she remembered it, and she was scared about it, but she didn't want to tell, obviously, and her son, she didn't want to, like, push him towards that, right?
Right.
Well, it happened exactly. It was an accident, and it happened exactly the way she was shown. That made her understand, and she's a physician, so it kind of reworked her whole way of thought and thinking, and it made her realize, like you're saying, we're all connected by that soul energy, and even though we go, we're still connected. So if we go to, whatever you want to label it is, it doesn't matter, but we go into that space of non-physical, we're still all so connected. And I just
Right.
think it's so important that people understand that. Now, I look at the way the world is now, and a lot of people, and they always say, oh, that's a terrible thing to say. But people are pushing away from religion. And religion for me is the man in religion. I still look at
Right.
evangelists like Joel, whatever the heck his name is. You don't need $20 to put your prayer up to God, or have this guy who's got his garage filled with 60 super expensive cars, and he's living in a mansion, and he has Rolodexes in every color and shape.
Yeah.
That's not spiritual.
No.
And it's so important. And
That's agreed.
The younger people, I think, are more leaning to that. They're leaning more to the spirituality of it. And I just think that's really super important as well. Thoughts?
Yeah, it is important. This is the Great Awakening.
Uh-oh.
Sorry about that. My phone keeps ringing.
That's
It's
all
a spam call. Yeah. Where were we? Religion.
Yeah,
The younger people, they are awake to it. They see what it is. They realize that or they're feeling more like the religion is more superficial. I hate to say it that way, but it is compared to spirituality. Spirituality is getting to know yourself inside and out, and connect with spirit and connect with everything that exists.
I look at.
I think it's one thing is look at how we disconnected we've become because of technology.
Yes.
And it's a growing need to be connected to something, isn't it?
Well, one of the things, and I've said this quite a bit, we've discussed it a little bit on here. I said we're in a spiritual war right now, and it's really big. I was corrected during a meditation the other day, and I was told it is not just a spiritual war going on. It's a humanitarian war going on. It's the human factor. It's the being able to connect and understand that differences are needed, and that differences still connect everybody. And it's not just a spiritual war anymore. It is literally a fight for humanity right now. And
right. Instead of all the different races, we need to all realize that we are all part of the human race and come together.
I'm actually in the process of writing an article that I'll be putting out maybe by next week. I've been doing a lot of research with it too, and then letting them write what I need to write. And it is literally the
hello, Amber.
Prophecies of some of the Native American elders that have passed, and everything is really coming to fruition with it. And I think nothing is more explained than the current stuff going on over in the Middle East. And my thing, and we said this, I think last week, that it's the people that are in between the warring factions, the men that are warring and wanting to be in power, and all these people in the middle are dying. But what has been really,
there he is,
has been realized and seen more and more, that the younger generation, I would say, let's put it under 50, okay, under 50, is all saying, well, and I'm going to say it online, and I'm sorry if it offends anybody, but Israel is just as wrong as Hamas is, because you have just as many people being murdered by bombs, going after a select group, and you cut off the head, there's going to be another head come out. And by what Israel's doing, it's going to create more people because of to Hamas because of what they're doing in retribution for the horrific thing that Hamas did to them. But what's so curious is that's what everybody's saying. You can even see on various news stations, other than Fox, which I don't watch, but I go between a bunch of them, and they'll get these people from Israel on there to talk with them. And these newscasters that are in that same age group, right, 50 and under, they're basically basting them. Like, how can you justify, over 5,000 people in one area in 1 week? Like, how can you justify that? And they can't. So people are kind of pulling away from religion and actually starting to come together, I think, spiritually as right and wrong. There's right, there's wrong. So that gives me a little bit of hope with stuff going on.
Yeah. That's the younger generation too, as well as they are calling everything out. They're not like, we're not going to say this is what it is because that's what we've been taught. That's because what someone put in a book, so that must be the truth. They're like questioning everything, like questioning is the earth round or is it flat or is it a dome or what is it? Is it a pyramid? Who knows? They're questioning every single thing there is. They do not care that it's written in 15 or 30 other books. They're questioning it, and it's bringing everyone into this state of, I didn't think about it before. I was just plodding along like a robot because I've been told this is the way it is. So I've been going this way and following the leader. Well, who are the leaders that have told us the nonsense? Well, and why did they tell us certain things?
Right.
And it's because they want us to behave a certain way, and they don't want us to question. They didn't want us to question their authority and their rule.
Well, you can take a look, and I'll do this because I was born and raised Catholic. I have no problem saying this out loud. I call myself a recovering Catholic right now, okay? And the reason I do it, it's not that I had the priests that were in my life throughout the year. They were some amazing people. I mean, they were my friends. Even when I got older, I considered them friends. The nuns, there were a few nuns at my high school that were good friends of mine. I invited them to my wedding when I got married. They met Taylor when she was a baby. That's not what the Catholic Church part that I'm talking about. The Catholic Church part, when I was 14 years old, I was in 8th grade. I went to Mass every Sunday with my mom and dad. The only way I could get out of it is if I was really sick, but we always went every Sunday. We had to go. And this one day we had gotten mail, and I was talking to the mailman, opened the door, I took the mail, and I said, "Oh, here, Dad, this is for you from the church." And he opened it, and he's like, and he set it down. I said, "What is it?" He goes, "Oh, it's just the envelope." So I picked it up. I go, "You should put it in the other room." Well, it was open, and it said my dad's name, and then it said, "Because you work where you work, you make X amount of money. You need to pay us, the church, like, I think it was like $25-$30 a week." And I'm like looking at this. I said to my dad, I go, "What the heck's this?" He goes, "Oh yeah, they tell us how much we should be giving based on how we're living." I said, "What the heck?" That's when I started to push away. That's when I started to question things, right? So nowadays, you go fast forward from like 1974 into 2023, and I look at the hunger in the world. I look at the homeless worldwide, the people that are living in squalor worldwide. And here is a church run by a man who is elevated to be the father of the church, the closest person to God. They've got enough money, power, that they could feed the world 5 times over, and nobody would be shelterless. Nobody would be hungry.
Right, but they don't do it. They're not going to do it.
But it's a government, and that's what I think people are becoming more aware of. Because I know I'm sure as hell not going to give them $30 a week. There's just no way.
No,
for what?
For
they're
what?
all living great. So, yeah.
No.
I just don't.
It goes along the same lines of these,
This, this is
readers.
right.
Yeah,
Back in the
you
day,
could.
couldn't you pray to get out of sin? And yeah, and that's basically what they're saying now. Like Joel, whatever his name is, the evangelist. Pay me $5, pay me. I'll make sure the sin doesn't follow you. And it's crazy. It's like a
You
cult.
can't do that. Nobody can do that.
No, except ourselves. We have to be happy with ourselves. I'm actually also looking into.
Hey, you weren't meant to fit in their mold. That's
Yeah,
not what you're here for.
right. I've actually been looking for research material on the Lance or the Spear of Destiny that is said to be out there. There's actually 4 that are. They all say they're the one. I believe it's Switzerland, I think, or the Norway or something. It's like one of those colder UK company or UK places, and it's supposed to have miracles, and it's supposed to do this and that. But you follow the history of it, and that's what I wanted to do. And then I wound up, I don't even know why, because I've had discussions with Christ in my meditation and in my frustration. I've told you about all that. But I actually looked and I said, is there a actual physical history that we can follow saying that Jesus Christ was actually on earth? And there were 3 things, not in the Bible, but historically, that could link him to actually have been being here. The rest of it is all oral history, and we don't know what's been changed because the man in religion twists things to work the way they want. So
Yep.
I think it's good.
All those books are a bunch of stories that were voted on by a council of men who decided what they wanted you to believe. What did they leave out? What did they change? Nobody knows.
Well, another thing that I find really humorous actually is how nowadays, like especially here in the US, but it's going all around. I think China just did something and Russia did something really bad on the LGBTQ community, right? That, this is horrific and blah, blah. This can be traced back to the dawn of time, that there have been people, LGBTQ people, forever, like historically forever. And it's like, I think.
Yeah, forget that, Kay. You don't have to behave like so-called normal people.
Right.
They're the ones who aren't normal people. They are robots.
Well, my thing is, I don't care what you do. That's your own business. Doesn't mean I can't be your friend.
Right.
Same thing with the ethnicity or the culture that people come from. I find it fascinating. I like or don't like people because of who they are, not where they come from.
It's all about their character, nothing to do with their background.
And I think, yes, I think that that's happening too. Younger people are actually beginning to realize that, and they're really pushing for that, even though they're getting pushed.
Well, because they question everything. They don't care where it's written or who said what. They're questioning things, and they're doing the research because now they can do so much more research. Think back in the day for us, all we had was a library and an encyclopedia. If it wasn't written in a book, we had no way of doing the research, and it was so time consuming to even try to trace anything and find the roots of anything.
Well, that's why I tell people too, if you've got grandparents or older aunts, you have elders in your family, you need to talk to them.
Yeah.
Ask them about their life. And it's always funny because we brought this up, I think, a couple of weeks ago, when our younger people look at us and they're like, they don't want us to know they went out drinking or they went out and did something crazy. And it's like, who do you think developed that crazy? Like, do you think we're like this now because we didn't go do stuff like that? I mean, like, for real. So I think it's really good. But I think people should be paying more attention to their elders. We have languages that we're losing because people aren't talking with our elders.
Yep.
So, and I know you your grandkids, right? You tell them that's how you do things. You tell stories. You pass them
Right.
an oral
Right.
tradition.
I don't make them like with Leo seeing that creature. I could have been like what any of my relatives would have been like my mom or dad or grandparents or aunts and uncles would have been just, yeah, whatever, you're crazy, is your imagination, you didn't see anything. But no, I'll listen to him and don't make him feel like he's losing his mind or he's crazy.
Well, my parents were that way. Actually, my dad, when I was 13, my grandmother passed on Christmas Eve. And the next day, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was really cold winter that year. And my grandmother came and visited me. She sat at the end of my bed and was having a discussion with me. And my dad had got up to go to the bathroom, and the bathroom was next to my room. So he pushed the door open. He said, "Are you all?" And he saw my grandmother. And he just kind of looked, and he just politely shut the door and went back to bed.
Like, I'm done.
But he never belittled me for any of it. And matter of
Right.
fact, the year he passed, before he passed, he actually was seeing spirit in the house. And we had a discussion. And my niece was at the house, and it was her, who was an adult at that time. Her, myself, and my dad were there. And my dad brought it up. He says, and I looked and my niece said, "I saw those three in the house too. I thought it was a nightmare." But they described it exactly how I had seen it all those years ago when my sister passed. So it's like they come to do things. And my parents never, they always supported whatever it was. But it's not something in my day that you talked about a lot because it wasn't safe.
Yeah, no, you didn't want to feel like, oh, you were too different or that you were crazy or any
You
of
need to go
those
see the
things.
doctor. We need to put you on medication.
Right. You didn't
That's
want to be on medication. You didn't want to do any of that. So you just kept it to yourself and kept quiet.
So that's like the big thing, I guess, for today, right? I think it's all about the holidays coming in. Honor those people that have passed from your life. Remember them with joy. Remember them with memories that maybe spark happy things or spark stories to tell, right? The next generation or the generations that are around you. Keep those oral traditions going. It's so important.
It
So
is important. My favorite Christmas tradition, actually, and this is not one from my childhood. This is one I've developed.
getting blurred again. Do you see me getting blurred?
I didn't see that.
I'm really blurred right now. Woo! It wasn't close. It did it inside. I can feel like static energy right now.
That's crazy.
So say
But
hello to whoever's here.
So my newest tradition and I've had this for quite a few years now, and it came from a previous marriage, but I love the concept of it and I love the idea of it. So I carry it on and I continue it. And I hope that my grandkids will continue this tradition is we do a tree gift. So it's one little and insignificant little, doesn't cost a whole lot of money or anything, little funny gift that gets wrapped and it gets put in the tree, and you can open all your other gifts whenever you want, of course, Christmas morning, but that tree gift has to stay in there until after dinner. So you have that one last thing to look forward to on Christmas Day. So, and it's just a little fun something to open up. That's what we have I'm the one in charge of getting all the tree gifts for everybody every year.
I think it's also cool to take something that has meant something to you in your life, like crystals for me, right? I'm actually thinking about.
Oh, well, my grandkids are constantly trying to steal my crystals.
Well, but that's what I like to do is I give them I say the kids, but they're adults now. I give them one thing to remind them of the past and where that came from. So it comes with a story. And to me, that's just sharing your history, your family history, and kind of merging it with where they're at right now, so that every time they pick it up, they go, "Oh yeah, you remember when Mom gave us this or gave us that?" And to me, that's really super important. That's
it is
a cool thing to do. What's this here? Oh, here you go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's like 100%. 100%, Margaret. 100%. Hi, Christy Wilkinson. How are
Yeah.
you? Yeah. See, and this is good too. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. You know, it's family you choose. It's friends you choose, not that you automatically. Look at I'm getting smaller too. Is
What?
that like weird? I'm getting smaller on the screen too. It like went
You're
way.
not on my end. You're not smaller.
Wow. It is on mine. I'm little and I'm really blurred.
You're crazy.
Ruth!
It's not
Ta-da!
me. It's not me. It's Ruth. Ruth did it.
Anyway, well, wow. I think let's see, if you're up to it, next Wednesday will be our last one until after the first of the year because of holiday. Can we commit to
Sounds
that?
good. Yep,
All
we
right.
can do that.
Yeah, and let's talk about the holiday stuff next week. Oh, I just froze, and so did you guys. All
We're
right.
not frozen. We're
Yeah,
not frozen.
all right. So until next week, guys, thanks for being here. We love you guys. Make sure you get hold of us. If you need us, we're always around somewhere for sure.
Check out
And,
my bloopers on TikTok.
oh yeah, you gotta go. Yeah, follow her on TikTok. I actually have it on my phone, and I have it in my favorites, and I bring it up and I laugh, and I just laugh. I even said it to Taylor. Taylor goes, "Mom, you're so weird." She goes, "But that is funny." I said, "Yeah."
It was such a little quote as well. If you go back to the video before it or after it, I do the actual quote. I actually get it out. But I mean, the two bloopers, that wasn't the only two. There were others. I just didn't get it saved. I was
Well,
like, good Lord, what is wrong with me today?
I do stuff. I record stuff here on my computer a lot because, like I said, the phone I can't. It's just too much. It's too tiny for me, and I have a hard time doing like if I want something with the bird or something like that. I can't do both at the same time. So I do it here. But I will be honest, and it has happened to me, and I'm like, God, screw it. What the heck? And I pause it, right? And I go 3, 4, 5, and I'll have like 10 of them in a row before I get
Yes, yeah.
Anyway. All right, guys. Bless you all.
Uh-oh, Crystal says to watch for something coming in the post, Bear. Ooh.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you. Love you all. Until next week.
Later, everyone.